Hello again, welcome back everyone. Liquorhound here with you. Thank you for joining me once again for another spirit review video. And today I'm going to be taking a look at the latest release coming to us from the Old Forester brand of whiskeys. This is their 100 proof rye whiskey. It is based on an old Normandy Rye brand that Brown-Forman had acquired back in the 1940s. Now they had not done anything with it until now, because this supposedly has that exact grain recipe. And they talk about how it's their very first new grain recipe in almost 150 years. Now, as far as what goes into it, it is 65% rye, 20% malted barley, and 15% corn. And that is pretty unique to see the malted barley and corn flip-flop there, because typically if you're going to add a second grain to a rye whiskey, it's going to be the corn and then the malted barley. But here we have it reversed. Now, Chris Morris talked about how the reason he did that high grain, high percentage of a malted barley was to ensure full fermentation, which that's going to really help there, but also because he wanted to help balance out the rye floralness. He wanted to create a really nice balanced whiskey, and I think he's definitely done that here. Again, price point $23, $27 is roughly what I've been seeing it. All right, let's get to the nosing. I would say on the nose here, I'm picking up a lot of brown sugar, a little bit of a sorghum type element as well. I would call this one a little bit of a mixed berries. I'm picking up a little cherry tone as in there, in with the mixed berries. A lot of cinnamon, a little pepper spice, a little clove, a little anise or anise. Good amount of oak, even coming in the glass. You can pick that up a little bit because it feels really, really deep on the nose. Maybe a little bit of a, and this sometimes don't take this the wrong way, I can pick up a little bit of a furniture polish in this one. It's not like chemically or chemicals or anything like that. It's just deep. Old characteristic in there, which is surprising for a $23 rye. But let's go ahead and taste it. Wow, yeah. Yeah. They've done it again. All right. Viscosity. Solid medium viscosity, and I say solid because I almost wanted to give it a little more than medium viscosity, but I'm just going to call it a solid medium viscosity. The way it enters and the way it's transitioning here is pretty remarkable for such an inexpensive rye whiskey. When it enters, you get this big brown sugar. Again, I almost give it, just like it knows, a little sorghum, because it's not just brown sugar intense. A little bit of sorghum in there. You get the mixed berries, that little bit of cherry tone kind of twinging. You get the rye is giving a little bit of a floralness, and the spice characteristic is kind of swelling and intensifying, leading up to the mid palate. I'll go ahead and rerun it here. Yeah, big brown sugar. Here comes the swell of rye. It's almost even before the mid palate, you get this big oak tone kind of come in and kind of cap everybody. And the reason I say it the way it caps it is because, to me, underneath you're getting that sweet brown sugar, you're getting a rise of a little rye floralness, and the spices are growing, and to me it's kind of a mix of baking spices, a lot of cinnamon, a little pepper type element thing, but you get this rush of spice, and the mixed berries and the little cherry tone and apples kind of rush into the mid palate, and then as it hits that and starts rolling over, because to me that the oak kind of keeps it from intensifying, which is a good thing, because you don't want it to just get out of balance and get too spicy. To me, as soon as it hits the mid palate, the spices almost immediately soften and balance in with that big oak. And here we are, man. I'm just still, wow, yeah, the deep flavors on the back end are amazing in this whiskey for that price. Because when I get to the mid palate and those baking spices and all that kind of soften, then you start focusing a little more on a cocoa powder, a leather, a little tobacco thing going on with that rich sweet oak, still rolling. To me, the mixed berries, that cherry tone almost dropped out early on. Like you pick it up right up front with that rye floralness and spice. You kind of pick all those elements up front. And then when you hit that mid palate and everything starts calming down, to me, I lose the cherry tone and you start just focusing on the apples. And to me, it comes off like a dried apple. You get that, and then you get the cocoa powder and the leather and the little tobacco rolling on the back end. It's pretty amazing, again, at that price point. Let me rerun it. Of course, running it over the palate, feeling that viscosity. Yeah, you get the apples right up front as well, but you get that mixed berries, that cherry tone. And then you get that swell of, again, it's almost like a cinnamon, pepper, joined with baking spices, kind of swell. You get a little floralness of the rye, swelling to the mid palate, and then right about here you start, the oak is just laying on top, and it just starts, everybody just starts softening. I mean, again, that's where you can really focus on the apples on the second half to me. And again, dried apples. Yeah, wow. So, 100 proof rye. I think it's spot on the proof. You know, you could have done what Pikesville does at 110. Could have done that, but to me, this is perfect here because you can sip it at 100. If you felt this was a little too hot, you can add a couple drops. I'm sure it can handle water. But to me, you can sip it at 100. You can mix it in cocktails, and the price isn't going to inhibit that. So that's also a great thing about this whiskey. I hope it's going to hold up. Now, the thing about Old Forester is that, to me, they've been on top of their game for a while now. It goes back a couple years when the 1920 hit. Of course, throughout the years, they've always had some good, you know, Old Forester bourbons. The signature back in the day was always, you know, really, really good. But then, you know, they've had some misses along the way, of course, as probably everybody has. But to me, starting with that 1920 Prohibition style, when that thing hit, that was pretty much a home run. And everybody kind of fell in love with it. I really enjoyed it. And then last year when they did the 1910, and they kind of, to me, they showed me that they could take a young bourbon, a 4-year-old bourbon, and make it taste like a much older bourbon because they did the double barrel maturation, the heavier chars. And that, to me, just showed their skill with the barrel program. This one, I'm going to guess, again, roughly about 4 years of age. But to me, I think they're just doing their little barrel magic on it, and it's actually kind of making it taste a little older than it is. And you can, again, at the price point, you can kind of see that, because to me, if this was, you know, an 8-year, 6 to 8 year old rye whiskey, you're going to lose volume. Hence, you're going to have to pay more. So this being at $23 MSRP tells me it's probably young, but they've just done a really good barreling on it. I hope it holds this way, because like right now I'm not picking up hardly any dill. That's the one thing rye whiskey aficionados or drinkers tend to worry about a lot is, you know, dill in a rye. To me, I'm not picking that up on this right now. I do know that Old Forester and many other whiskeys will oxidize differently. This one, and because when I look back on the 1910, when you first crack that bottle, it's a little big, a little hot, a little twinge, even at 93 proof. But here we are. You give it a few months, and it really softens and just rounds out nicely. I'm hoping this one doesn't really need to round out too much, but I'm hoping it doesn't oxidize and start changing the flavors, because I really like it where it is right now. Like I said, I'm not really picking up any dill, which is a good thing, because again, we worry about that sometimes. I do think if you sit there and you taste something long enough and you just you know, kind of overthink a whiskey, I think you can overthink whiskey. You can start picking up dill, you know, if you start thinking about it, and is that dill? I think that's dill. And then next thing you know, you're like, man, I'm tasting dill. To me, that's how come I just give you I taste it and I tell you what I'm tasting. Right now, I'm not picking up any dill on this, which to me is a good thing. I love everything it's giving. I love the transition. It almost gives you a younger rye into an older rye characteristic. I love all that about it. To me, it is a very bourbony rye. So if you like bourbon, you love bourbon, you're going to really enjoy this rye whiskey as well, because it gives you kind of the floral rye spice up front, but then it gives you the darker characteristics of a good old bourbon on the back end, or an old rye, you know, either way. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank y'all for leaving all the great comments. Of course, if you have any questions, you can ask me questions in the comments section, or you can always hit me up on Facebook and my Liquorhound page. And I am on Twitter and Instagram every now and then. But again, thank y'all for leaving all those. I really do appreciate it. Y'all have a great evening, and cheers.